Hey everybody, it's Mr. Delusive here with the weekly Lords of Delusia Devblog. I haven't worked on the game for almost a year now because I was working full time, but as of last week I've been focusing on working on the game. So I'm now full time working on the game again, and I guess from being away from it for so long now gives me a fresh perspective on some of the stuff in the game that I wanted to change. I remember at the time there was things I wanted to change, and because I already had invested many hours in going for it one certain way, I didn't want to change it. But now I guess after a year of, well, almost a year of not touching it, um, I've decided, there's a few things I want to change in it. So overhauling the ship cargo, and that's going to be a pretty big thing because there's a lot of stuff all kind of interconnected with that, but I don't like it as much. It can be better. I was thinking as well too, because the ships, the way they look, is probably the thing I hate the most in the game, especially when you have them on the ship hangar and you can see them large in the large size. So what I was thinking instead was I'll design ship parts and then have the players create the ships wherever they want. So let's say they equip two Delsec, Cobalt, I've forgotten all the weapon names, but the Cobalt hybrid, quad, whatever. So then the ship will change its look based on that weapon you've got equipped, and then different engines. That was already implemented, the different engine trails based on the engine, but maybe a shield effect and hull and probably design things you can equip as well. So that'll be maybe something. It just depends on, Then the other things were the overhaul, the scaling to get it working properly, which I've done. I spent this week doing that, and I'm working on, well, all the saving is done. I'm changing the saving and the loading, so it's going to be more, what's the word, more growable if it needs to be. So yeah, they're the things I worked on this week. I'll show you straight away. So currently I'm in the full 3840 by 2160 res, but if you remember from some of the older videos, they looked bigger than this, and that was because I was in 1920 by 1080. So now if I switch to 1920 by 1080, and I'll just adjust the OBS, the scale remains the same. So it's actually smaller now than it was in the original 1920 because it wasn't being scaled and I couldn't figure it out. But I guess after everything I've learnt in the last almost year, I can do a lot more now. So now I'm using a scale matrix which works correctly, and no matter what resolution you're in, so let's go to a different one, it'll scale based on that. I guess, I'm only doing width at the moment, but because I picked the funky one, that should have, the aspect ratio still stays at 16 by 9. So that's the last thing I'll probably have to do with the scaling, is just have it detect the aspect ratio. So I'll show you how it looks. I've clicked the wrong one because it's so small on my screen. 1920 by 1080. Let's click that, right? So if I go to my desktop, this is how it looks on mine. So it's really small now. But that's if you want to, I don't know why you would, but let's say you do it and then we go, windowed mode. It's a lag error on desktop mode for some reason. So yeah, that's another option. So we'll just toggle that back. Yeah, I think actually I shouldn't have moved it. I'll just close and reopen it, I guess. So now on desktop mode I can show you the code as well, I guess, but this was the save game stuff. And I'll just start it from here again. And I'll switch to the, and pick the same background. This one. Toggle borderless. There we go. I got a resized on OBS as well. So this is how it looked, and that's because that's the original scale. But this is how it actually looks on all resolutions now, like this. Now I'm just running at 3840 by 2160 so that I can see properly. So that's the scaling done, and I'll go into, so as I was changing the save and load games, I've been testing to make sure it didn't break anything. There was a few things, but they're all fixed, and now I just have to finish some of the loading stuff. But yeah, cargo was one of the things that was getting broken, and that's going to be changed anyway. So all this looks the same. So I'm running at the Ultra HD, but when you're running at the smaller resolutions, this is the size now as well that it'll always appear. So one of the other things is the star map. It's not on all resolutions, it doesn't need to be scrolled anymore. So, let's say here, and if you remember from the older videos, I might just move the mic away from the speaker. So yeah, on the older videos this was scrollable, and that functionality is still there. It's just that it's not needed anymore because the scale matches the screen resolution. So other than that, I'll just show you how the ships look in this resolution because I think it's been a while since. But yeah, so even if this, so let's say we switch, I haven't actually tried it, switching in here. So yeah, there we go. So let's scale this back up. So this is how it looks now in 1920 by 1080 as well. So it's the same scale. And then, well, because I've been testing some of the stuff, I was testing the cargo collection and that. There we go. And then everything works. They're pretty much the same. I guess I'll just keep this video at that. But from next week I'll probably make longer videos, because I'm thinking with devblogs, I think no one really watches these anyway, but they're more for my records, and I guess if anyone is ever interested to look back in the game design of this game, they can watch all the videos. But yeah, so what I'm gonna do is, instead of what I used to do and what this video is just showing the features, I'll go into the code a bit more. So I'll go into the desktop view and talk about, I'll just close this, talk about I did the save cargo data, and yeah, this all needs to be overhauled anyway, because I've pretty much, as you can see here, like docked screen, where was it? Ship market? No. Last thing, that's right, cargo bay. Yeah, all this is horrible. I didn't want this anymore. So yeah, and that should be all handled in the load game stuff when I'm done, and then it won't be in the cargo bay class anymore. It'll be in its material class, where it should be. And then I guess a lot of the next few weeks I'm going to be doing a lot of code redesign and cleanup, because there's a lot of things that shouldn't be the way. So yeah, this is pretty much all I've done. But yeah, over time I'll probably do the constructible ship stuff. Yeah, that's it for this week. It was just mainly to show the scaling and some of the save and load stuff. So thanks for watching.